returning from closed session and proceeding with the agenda with approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the April 11th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the April 11, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. We'll move along to public comment, but should I go up? Should I? Oh, we do have public comment. Okay, we do. Yes.
We need to fill out a card before he leaves.
Okay. I don't know about the little, if you know about the little card.
I
don't know if you've ever
I
been
looked. I didn't
familiar with that.
I know the rules. I tried.
I tried.
Anyhow, Joel Price, nice to be back. It's a weird sense of accomplishment and PTSD to be back in this room again. But I just wanted to wish Laura well. I know this is her last maybe televised meeting, maybe last meeting altogether. You never know. But and thank her for all of her years of service to the 201 board, and in particular to the last part of my tenure on the board, where she and I worked together through COVID, which was obviously a very stressful time for school boards all over. So I wanted to wish you well, congratulations, and you'll enjoy retirement. Congratulations to Dina and Carlos as well, and Whitney. So. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
No, this isn't for Laura. Joel said all that. It was very nice. We left that up to Joel. I had something different for the board because I know these are words you guys don't hear that much, and this isn't just for the board. It's for the administration, the teachers, and principals. But thank you. Our children had a wonderful experience in 201. Jack was the class of 2019, Rose is 2020, and they're both getting set to graduate here in a few weeks. So they've been very set up in life, and Kevin Weck and Jack, I'm going to particularly address this to you and to the parents and to Kevin Carey also. Rose is graduating a year early from college, 3 years. It's all because of the AP programs in that high school that she took and she passed. So parents, it's real. Right? She's saving herself and her parents over $25,000 in college education by taking the AP classes in high school. So again, we thank you very much. Thank you to everybody. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, I'm gonna make you stand up.
You're making me stand up?
Yeah. Or I can start, like, if there are any other words that board members have, but just gonna make her stand in the middle one more time.
Oh yeah, I'd like to say something.
Yes.
I mean, truly, it's just been a privilege to work with Laura. Kind of touching on what Joel mentioned, we went through some tough stuff there, and I think Adina and Leah can agree with me that like we wouldn't have gotten through all of that without all of you guys. But just especially with Laura, I feel like. Always, I hope that everybody in the community has seen this, that when things get sort of heated, Laura is always this voice of reason and compassion and logic and calm, and just kind of brings us back to where we need to focus our energy. And I think that's going to be greatly missed, but hopefully we all take some of that with us as we move forward.
Thanks, Jess.
Well, I'm gonna say it from here before I make you stand. I also want to extend my thanks and my just admiration for you. You've made this much more palatable to take in. And there are times, yes, that I wanted to run away. But your voice of reason was always great, and you're led by example. And I really appreciated that. And this statement has been said before of other people, but I truly think you embody the mantra of leaving something better than where you found it. And you've definitely done that. So I want to thank you for that. And before I make you stand.
Yeah, I just want to say the same thing. All the thanks. I'm not sure I'll ever forgive you.
Right.
But I will thank you. Your leadership has been just priceless. We needed it, and you helped all of us when I'm sure it was really, really challenging. But you've been an amazing leader on the board, and I appreciate you and your service and all the school board members' service. Yeah, you're going to be missed, but enjoy your retirement.
But you'll see me.
I want to thank you for taking a very green school board member, helping me along. I appreciate your leadership always. I'm going to miss you, but I have a new friend, so I even more, I consider you a friend, so.
Thank you.
Yay, so all of that, ditto.
All the things.
To say something.
Thank you. Learned a lot, and I appreciate that more than anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want me to go, or do you want to do your, I'll talk. Okay, so thank you, everybody. A little overwhelming. I'll try not to take up too much time because, as everybody knows, like, getting out of here in a expedited fashion is always my goal, along with addressing everything we need to address. But this will be my last regular meeting, so I just wanted to say a couple of things. First, to the community. I wanted to thank you for trusting me to represent you and for supporting me and the rest of the board through some challenging times. Really challenging times. It's been a privilege and an honor to serve the community. And to the students of District 201, it's been a very rewarding experience to serve you specifically. I want you to know that every decision made, explored, and influenced at this board table is always with you at the center. Current and previous board members, thank you for serving and dedicating so much to the community. It takes a lot, and you are all deserving of thanks. Even previous board members who aren't here tonight that I've served with and served before, you gave of your time and your commitment, and you deserve the thanks. To this current board, thank you for stepping up, committing your time, your knowledge, and your resources to the community and to the students. Your commitment, integrity, and leadership are beyond reproach. And I think the community is very lucky to have you at this table on their behalf. Kevin, you've done so much for our district, and it's been truly an honor to serve with you. And I hope you know that your legacy here will be felt for generations.
Thank you.
Truly. And last and most, to my family. My husband Chris is here, and Zoanna is very sad that she couldn't be here, but she's doing more fun kid-like things. Thank you for your continuous support and countless hours you sacrificed to allow me to do this job to the best of my ability. It truly made all the difference in being able to do this, so thank you. And that's it. That's all I have to say, so I'm gonna leave.
Not yet. And
Not yet?
Chris, you can come up too, because I just want to present you too. And thank you, you and Zoanna, for allowing us to have her nice on it and for all the special meetings.
You don't have to thank me. She's the one that was here.
I'm bringing my keys up.
I had the easy end.
And the board is presenting you with the plaque. The Board of Education presents this award to Laura Coyle in sincere appreciation of 5 years of service with the Community Unit School District 201 Board of Education.
Thanks. Yes, I'm leaving.
Bye. Thank you for everything.
she's gonna miss the rest of the fun.
I know.
We're going to proceed with the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Personnel recommendations. Samantha Zinovich, principal, Miller Elementary School. Sarah Payne, literacy teacher, Westmont Junior High School. Adam Kordelewski, assistant principal, dean of students, Westmont High School. Joseph Kowatskowski, fourth grade teacher. Larissa Stetska, teaching assistant. Colleen Kaluga, principal secretary Manning. Charlie Curran, secretary Manning. Jason Gentile, head varsity volleyball coach, Westmont High School. Charles Cosart, summer crew worker. Jackson Cosart, summer crew worker. Number 2, approval of April 2023 expenditure report. 3, ratification of March 2023 regular payroll. 4, approval of SACIT classroom lease. And 5, approval of towel service.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Mr. Donio?
Yes.
So I believe we have 2 or 3. Samantha, I don't know if you wanted to speak, and if you want, no pressure.
Can I just say a quick word before Samantha?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. Samantha, come on up. So we went through a very thorough process. We had an incredible slate of candidates, that applied to be the Miller principal. We had 27 people on the committee, including almost half the Miller staff, Miller parents, board members, admin from throughout the district. And we chose Samantha, and we are so excited. She comes with great experience as an elementary leader, but I think what impressed us most is who she is as a person, and we are just very thrilled that she will take over the principalship at Miller.
Hi, school board.
Hello.
I want to say I'm very proud and excited to serve as Miller's principal. I can't wait to work collaboratively with you and to get to know the community and the families. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Adam? No pressure, but if you want.
No pressure.
What a first board meeting to attend. This was a great
Here's his hugs.
You know, I wasn't expecting all this, and the TV cameras, I have a face for radio, but I just want to thank you guys for this excellent opportunity, and I'm excited to begin working with the team. I've heard so much great things, and I'm honored to be part of it and want to continue our awesome traditions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, thank you guys. Oh.
Yeah, we're good.
Wait.
I got the nod from Lindsay.
Okay. All right, moving on to information and discussion. We'll start with the first reading of proposed student handbook revisions.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Kevin Weck, and I'm one of the assistant principals at Westmont High School.
You mean future principal?
So, what's that? Yeah, and
You mean future principal?
future principal at starting July 1, right? Education World. So this might be my last time actually reading out or being here for the handbook readings. So I'll soak up the moment, enjoy it. So before we begin, I'm just going to kind of go through a little bit of the background of how we got the process started and how we do it every year. Over spring break, every building administrator and every building principal sends out a template to the staff to ask for any revisions regarding the handbook for the following school year. So our staff gets about 2 weeks to be able to add, edit, revise, provide suggestions on what they'd like to see for the following school's yearbook, or the handbook. So we collect that then after 2 weeks, and then we get our handbook committee together. The handbook committee consists of parents, students, and then administration. We got together last week, and we kind of go through each building level's handbook, the elementary, the junior high, and then the high school, just to see if there's any questions or concerns, but then if there are any suggestions on what else we need to add to it. So tonight is the first reading just to kind of go over some of these changes. And then the second reading is going to happen, I believe, on May 16th with Mike Lipinski and Jada James. They'll be here for that to represent the elementary and junior high at that time. All right, and then it's obviously submitted to Shannon and to the board then prior to this meeting. And then if you've had a chance to look it over, that's great. We could talk a little bit about some suggestions that you might have, and then I could take that back to building principals, and they can make those edits then over the next 2 or 3 weeks before the next board meeting. Okay, so I will go ahead and just start with the elementary template here. And I'm just going to highlight 1 or 2, and then if you have anything you'd like me to add or change, I can give those edits then to Mr. Weiler and Ms. Peterzak then between now and then. All right, so for the handbook, the one I was going to bring up here is on page 2 of the template, and it's, if you look in the left-hand column, it's under the page 5. If you look to the right, the changes are going to be that student absent 3 consecutive days needs a physician's note to return to school. After having a total of 7 excused absences during the school year, each absence after that requires a physician note to return to school. And then after 7 total excused absences, any further absences will be considered truant, even with a physician's note. I think we're trying to do our best to communicate with our families the importance of communicating when their child's going to be out, if they're going to be out an extended period of time, that we have a doctor's note to accompany that. And that just ties back into, you know, our school report card and what we're being held to by the state in terms of attendance, chronic absenteeism, and truancy. So we're just trying to tighten things up with that. Any questions on that?
Did you say this was on the elementary, or is it at junior high?
So this is for the Manning proposed changes. If you look on the second.
I'm not sure we have that.
We don't have that.
Yeah, we don't have the Manning one.
Right.
But the Manning one is mostly blank.
Yes.
I'm
It says
Oh.
elementary.
For the go to board day.
So this one, it was on page 2, but it was on
You're in
Westmont High
the
School.
junior high school one.
Right.
No,
The junior high one has that.
Right.
Yeah.
The elementary is,
Tree. That's just,
Oh, it's blank.
it's blank, yeah.
Yeah.
so I was just making sure. Okay.
Yeah, this, I just printed this up from the folder
Okay.
tonight.
Okay. We just have to get it right for us. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, we'll get
It's not matching, that's all.
yeah,
download maybe.
okay.
We'll get.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that, okay.
It's 2324, right? Yeah, it says 2324.
Yeah, but for some reason it's not there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Shoot, usually I bring enough hard copies, I can just pass it around, but,
Go ahead.
yeah, so just another one of the changes. And there are changes that, as you guys get this tomorrow, that can just be, you can just email me if there's any questions you have.
Okay.
And then I can share it out with our building principals for that. The next one I was going to bring up is based on the cell phones and some of the things, the comments that were made for the edits, using a cellular telephone, video recording device, personal digital assistant, smartphone devices, including smart watches, in any manner that disrupts the educational environment or violates the rights of others. This is a concern that they have. All cell phones and similar electronic smart devices, including smart watches, must be kept powered off and out of sight during the regular school day unless use of devices provided in a student's individualized education program or 504 plan is needed as an emergency that threatens the safety of students, staff, or other individuals. It seems like there's a problem with the number of cell phones and watches that are being used during the school day for communication and other purposes like that. Okay. So I'll then, because you guys don't necessarily have access to this, we're going to move on to the junior high. All right. And some of it's just edits, you know, in terms of who's there, the year, and some of these other pieces. So I just tried to find something that would be important to bring up here in this meeting. The junior high, on page 2 of the template, and then if you look at the left-hand column, it says page 4, excused absences. If you look at the uppercase letters there. Under student illness, it says up to 7 times with parent-guardian contact. 3 consecutive days may require a physician's excuse. And then student illness beyond 7 times with medical documentation or determination by school nurse. And then I skip down to the bottom here where it says unexcused absence and tardies. Student illness beyond 7 times without a medical documentation, even with parent or guardian contact. So if we do not get the physician's note, we have to leave that unexcused, because really the state's saying we have to keep it to 5% or less in terms of absences. 10% is considered chronic absenteeism. And the goal is that we're doing everything we can to be proactive, communicate with families, and then if it does get to the point where it's beyond 7, that a doctor is telling us that this student cannot be in school due to their condition or something that's going on. Okay. Any questions on that? No, okay. Let's see, the next one I was going to bring up. If you go to page 6 of the template, it's under page 23 of the handbook. I just thought maybe bringing up the fact that daily assignments can be found in the digital learning platform for students who might be out for extended periods of time, or they might be missing consecutive days, that it's important that parents and students understand that a lot of times teachers are using Google Classroom to be able to update class work, class assignments, maybe testing, stuff like that. But that's typically where students can go to find out any information that they might have missed for that school day. All right. Does anybody have questions, though, that they'd like to address or bring up with Ms. Quattrone, Mr. Lipinski? Okay. Yeah, a lot of it's just edits or kind of revising things here. Just on the last page, it says students will present their ID cards to purchase lunch. I think that's they just want to start having students have their IDs on them at all times. All right, so then going to the high school, this is probably the shortest or the fewest changes we've made to our handbook. The only thing I was going to bring up on the second page of the template, under detentions, we just wanted to clarify just what detentions look like for our students. We typically give them plenty of options and opportunities to serve those detentions, but they're just after school at 3 o'clock, and that it's a good opportunity for them to get some schoolwork done, and then there's some after school buses that they can take. Other things to bring up, and if they're asked to leave, that time does not count. But we just wanted to clarify that for any students or parents that are out there. Any questions on the high school handbook? No? Okay. All right, well, that's what we have for this. And like I said, if there are any questions, feel free to just send me an email and I can share it out, just to make sure that for the second reading that those edits have been made and that we're ready to go for the approval process on the 16th, I believe it is. All right, well, thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you.
And I just want to say real quick, I appreciate knowing that the staff kicks this off.
Yes.
I really appreciate knowing that, like that
They have
they're
2
the
weeks.
experts and they're the people and they've got, but I appreciate knowing that they're the ones who kick off a lot of these edits and most of these edits. And it's helpful to know, so
Yeah,
thank you.
and even for the committee, we had, I believe it was 7 students participate. That's
awesome.
Some
That's
junior
great.
high and high
Yeah.
school students. It was great. And
Yeah, their input and their knowledge in the building, they're the
Yeah.
experts, so it's really good to know that it kind of starts with them.
Yeah, and the high school had just 3 pages, so that was good.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone.
We're going to move to the presentation of monthly financial statements for March 2023.
Yes. Attached are the March 2023 monthly expenditures and revenue. I'm going to start with the expenditure report. Year to date, the district has spent roughly 77% of our expenditures. We were projected 78% at this time. On the revenue side, we have received roughly 57% of our revenues, and we were projected to receive roughly 54% of our revenue. So we're trending better than projected in historical figures. The third document I want to talk about is the investment schedule. This basically lists all of our cash at banks and investment profiles, and with all the bank situation is going on, I want to inform the community that all of our funds are secured, but this is a profile of all of our funds at each of our banks. Any questions?
We're going to move on to the transportation update.
Yes, so I wanted to do a summary of the transportation. So on February 14th and March 21st, I presented transportation updates. On the 14th, I discussed transportation contracts that the district currently has with general education and SPED. We talked about taxi concerns and the costs, rider statistics, and the projections of the transportation fund. On the 21st, I brought up bid progress for the SPED, additional special education transportation service, how the district selects riders, and the current busing routing process. So that's kind of a summary of what was discussed. And tonight, I am proposing to the board to approve some changes based on those updates and communicating with administrators and in our current contracts. So the summary and recommendations would be to create universal routes that do not change year over year. That was again brought up at one of the, it was brought up on March 21st. Updating the district hazardous locations, so that will be occurring this summer. Implementing bus tracking on a phone application. I believe I brought that up on March 21st as well. A cutoff date for new additional riders. So I briefly talked about this, but essentially implementing the transportation selection process during registration and having a cutoff date for riders to be put onto a bus unless they were out of town or they didn't attend registration, but having a cutoff date to eliminate additional routes and configuration issues with the bus company. And then lastly, adding transportation to the registration process. So these are all new additions to transportation within the district.
I have a couple of questions. So I guess my first question, and forgive me because you probably went over this on at the March 21st meeting, but what is our current process for bus routing?
So we route all students, and it happens within a week before school starts. We route all students to Westway. They get back to us on the easiest route based on all student addresses. And when school starts within the first couple weeks, kids jump on and off and routes change among the year. So it's really a condensed format of selection and routing.
Okay. And
Currently.
Currently. So now it's going to be one route and it just never changes.
No. So there will be multiple routes.
But they're never
these
gonna
don't change. Correct. So either a parent and a student says, you know, I'm close to this stop, I want to sign on the bus. Each year that route changes, so that route does not move going forward. So a parent would know, I know this location, I know the stop, I know the time, I know the drop off, where each year it changes year over year.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense as long as everybody has a universal spot that is safe and convenient. I mean, we'll approve that too at some point?
Yeah, so attached to the agenda are the universal route proposals for each building, and those are the current routes. And the reason why we'll be selecting those as universal is because that takes in consideration all students in the district. And with Westway, they are saying that this is the fastest, safest, and easiest route to keep universal.
Okay, and then I guess the only other one I have questions about is the cutoff date, like just like how strict, like what if there's a change in employment where a parent can no longer drop their kid off and then they need to get them on the bus, like we'll work with them, right?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah, there will be variables such as employment, I was out of town, I couldn't attend due to XYZ. Yes, they would have to unfortunately provide information to us to let us know that you know that was correct, and then we can assess that student on the bus. But if a family went through registration and said, you know what, I didn't want my student to be on the bus during that time, but now I do, that would be the cutoff. then that student wouldn't be able to ride the bus. But that all starts with communication to parents. So having information to Universal Routes blasted after this board meeting, having communication sent out to the website, letting people know that registration will be, or transportation will be during registration, having constant communication, not just the day of registration, would help allow parents to be notified that you can have your kid ride the bus.
And we can do that because it doesn't change all the time. Like,
Correct.
we can just say this is it.
This is it.
It takes away that frustration
Yeah.
of waiting,
Right.
which way does the bus come? And you're finding out the week before school
Right.
starts, or for some parents who didn't quite get the information, they're finding out a couple of days before school starts, so.
Yeah, and during registration, during the communication, we'll let parents know that if you expect your kid to ride the bus at least one time of the year, sign up for the bus, because that saves a seat for that student. And there will be no transportation fee this year. This is just to kind of extend the process, make sure that we are solving all the issues that we're seeing with transportation. But we'll over-communicate this information with parents.
A lot of it is to gather data too. We just don't have a lot of data, so we don't even know. Should we have a fee? Should we not have a fee? Like, how many kids are actually riding the bus? How many kids are signing up because why not? But my kid doesn't actually ride, that kind of stuff. So. I had two questions on it. One, and I don't know if this is possible, or does it make sense to have kind of a map view of the routes as opposed to 1,400 streets document?
So we did look to see if we can do a map, and we did, but plotting all the stops, it really is, to the eye, it's a little confusing. But we did go that route to say, okay, let's plot all the south stops or all the high school stops, and then they're all really, it doesn't look good on paper and also on the website.
Okay.
So this would be the easiest play.
Okay. Will there be a way to kind of let parents know, and maybe this is from the registration standpoint, and maybe this is just something we don't know, to let parents know like roughly what route they would be on, so that they even know like, oh, I'm in the southwest corner of town, you're gonna be on Route 5, whatever that may be. So you're not so you're kind of designating the routes in some form or another with like a description, just so folks know.
So more of, okay, for example, south, stop 1, what that stop is, and because it does say on the route, we have the stop location.
Yeah.
So what we could do, we can add a tidbit during registration on how to look to find where your house is compared to the stop. But
yeah, I mean, I'm almost saying more like instead of, or having the routes have like Route 1, 2, 3, 4, but Route 2 is, I'm looking at it. Route 2 is like Oakwood or something like that. So it's like labeled like Route 2 Oakwood, just so it's really clear, like, or alternatively, once you've signed up for it and you've done your registration, that like part of the registration packet is like, based on your address, your kids would be on Route 4.
that would be, yes, that would be a best
Either one of those two, just to simplify the parents' process of what route am I even looking at? So the parents don't have to figure out, especially because not all of the stops are going to be on the street that the parents live on. So,
Right.
Yeah, so there was that. And then the only other question I had was just, do we have a cost on the tracking?
So for the first 6 months, it's free.
Okay,
And then after the second half of the school year, it's $15 per route.
per route per student or per route?
Per route, not per student.
Oh, so it's
It's a cheap.
like $100?
Correct.
Total?
Okay, I was gonna say pending pricing, but
No. And we have a long-lasting relationship with Westway, and because we're making efforts to improve the relationship and issues, they're also decreasing the cost and the labor of the
Okay.
app.
Thank you.
So, I just want to be clear, the district is paying for the app, it's not each?
No.
You don't go to your phone and have to pay $15?
No.
Okay.
It's a free app to the parent.
Cool.
Other questions? Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, we're gonna go, move along to auditing services.
So Miller and Cooper has been the district auditors for over 10 years. They, due to CPA shortages and cuts, they decided to not be the district's audit firm for this upcoming school year. So the district went out to bid on April 18th, and we received 2 bidders, Baker Tilly and Lauterbach and Amen. And attached to this board agenda are the rates for fiscal year 23, 24, and 25 audits. During the audit firm, the district does not have to select the lowest responsible bidder. They can take in consideration references, they can take in consideration other aspects of the bidding process, but they do not have to take the lowest responsible bidder. Going through the references and other aspects of the bidding, I would recommend Lauterbach as the district's audit firm.
How do they compare financially, like cost-wise, to what we've been paying?
So they're actually a little bit cheaper than last year's Miller Cooper. So last year we spent roughly $40,000. Next year's projection is $34,850. Again, services may increase here and there due to reports that needed to be adjusted, but these are set in stone rates as of today. So they're cheaper than the district's historical audit firm. And as you can see, they're significantly cheaper at Baker Tilly. But again, it wasn't just pricing that took in consideration.
And not to be a long drawn out answer, but can you explain to the community why this is important and why the district does this?
So by law, districts have to be audited by a certified audit firm. And these are the 2 around the area that do bid the most, but there are several other firms, but legally the districts have to be audited by a financial firm.
So what you called out a little bit, the financial difference, I mean, literally it's twice as expensive, Baker Tilly, than Lauterbach. If you can share with us, what is the difference? I mean, what is there something we're giving up by not paying twice as much with Baker Tilly, or is it essentially like the same or similar services?
Same and similar services.
I mean, I was shocked at the difference between these 2 firms.
A big difference. So looking at the 2 firms, and not going too much in detail, the biggest difference is condensing the firm, or condensing the actual field work, because of the short window that our current staff company or our current auditing firm notified the district. Baker Tilly had to use more manpower going forward to get the audit done completely in our timing, where Lauterbach can work with us. And they also understand and know our financials. And again, it's a competitive bidding process. So.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move to number 5, 2023-2024 student fees.
Yeah, so attached are the school fee comparisons for the district. Dating back to 2012-13. All the way on the right in the green column are the proposed 2023-2024 fees, and on the right in the blue are the percent changes. I tried to mirror due to inflation and cost of goods and also area districts. So, and I also round up and down to the nearest dollar. So it's in line with inflation. It's in line with the prices of these materials.
Inflation's rough. That's all I gotta say. There's a lot of percent changes upwards.
The big one that I do want to note is if you scroll down to home ec, food and home ec. So that is there hasn't been historically a fee attached to that. It's $40 going forward next year, just because of the large significant increase in food prices. So that was the one where we had to look to see outside of inflation.
It's like, it looks like a lot of these fees have not changed in a while.
I was just gonna say that, and then like it makes me wonder if, like, is that the better approach, or is the better approach to like just increase it a little bit every year so it's not such a big jump up? I mean, I have no idea. But it's a lot of
Just
up this year.
Compare it to a minimum wage. Like, where are we standing where minimum wage is still $7.25? Like, everything else increases.
There is a historical, if you look at it, there has been a zero to a low increase. But yeah, we do have to keep up with inflation, but also address, we do have $200,000 of outstanding fees collected. So we also need to take in consideration of kind of how to recapture those funds that are dating back to 2015, and also keeping up with inflation.
So, I mean, the finance committee has been talking about fees a fair amount. And just really, we've been really challenging Anthony and his team to like connect the fees, connect the dots, connect the fees, right? You pay this fee and like, what does it exactly go for? And obviously it's in here, but I think it's harder for the parents to necessarily see that connection, right? I just pay my X number of dollars at registration or whatever, and where does it all go to? So, one thing that I just wanted to call out, and this is a piece like, I would be remiss if I didn't say anything, right? We've got a fee for parking at the high school, which is $150-ish roughly. Like, is that going back into the parking lots at the high school? Because I think we've all seen the same holes in the parking lot at the high school for a while. And that's just an example of like what, so that all the board members know, so the community knows, this is an example of like what we've been talking about in finance committee is like, okay, me as a parent, I'm spending $143 for my kid to be able to park at school every single day, right? Why am I seeing the parking lot decrease in like how nice it is, right? What is that fee going to upkeep of the parking lot, to upkeep, like, where is it going to? So this, some of the things that we've been really challenging kind of Anthony and his team to answer, not answer for, but just answer.
We actually, taking into consideration of the conversation of the finance committee, during registration and at the next board meeting, we'll have a template of what we're going to show parents during registration. And there is a blurb for every student fee on where that money is going to. And it's basically, this will pay for consumables, or this will pay for a portion of this salary, or labor and costs to the parking lot. So there will be blurs for parents to understand where is that money going to for all student fees.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I think it's important. It's a question that comes every year.
Yeah, connect the dots, connect the fees. Yep.
So the next board meeting, we'll have student fees for approval. Again, they're in line with inflation, and by next board meeting, we'll have lunch rates at that board meeting. Right now, they're TBD because the state hasn't given out the tool yet.
Any other questions or comments? And then we'll move to number 6, Policy Committee Update, the second reading.
So at the April 11th board meeting, the Policy Committee presented several board policies for the board to review for the first reading. Tonight, the same policies are presented for the second reading, and then later in the agenda for approval. Once the board approves the policies, then Shannon will go through the lengthy process of updating them on our website so that our board book is current.
And as a reminder, are there any huge changes?
There's
or anything?
No, most of the changes are relatively minor. Some of the more significant changes are tied to the Fates Law legislation, so the district really doesn't have any choice in that matter. We have to adopt those policies, but most of the policies are relatively minor.
Any other questions about policy? Super exciting. Another committee.
Another committee you can come to.
Yeah.
Join us. Okay, we're going to move to action items. Number one, the honorable dismissal of support staff will be tabled and attend to it another board meeting. Number two, approval of policies. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the policies as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move to approval of transportation changes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the transportation changes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
No questions, we'll move to roll call.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to number 4. The chair will entertain a motion to approve Lauterbach and Amen LLP as Community Unit School District 201's auditing services as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Number 5, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the 2023-2024 administrator annual contracts for the following administrators: Jada James, Lindsay Peterzak, Michael Lipinski, Amy Quattrone, Laura Lopez, Tiffany Teresi, Nadine Norris, Joseph Smith, and a multi-year contract for Anthony Ruelli.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes. Okay, number 6, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the non-certified salary increases for the 2023-2024 school year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the purchase of the Benchmark Advanced Core Instructional Materials for kindergarten through grade 5 to be deployed during the 2023-2024 school year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Can I ask a question on that one?
Sure.
I approve it. So I want to call out, I think the memo was very well written, and I understand it 99.9% of it. Very, very clear. So first, I want to say thank you and thanks to Benchmark for hearing what's missing from COVID, but also just what was missing in the curriculum. I didn't have a ton of experience with the prior curriculum, but Benchmark, how it's tied together, the mono and the dual, is I think it's awesome. But I think it's a great curriculum, so I was bummed to find out that it was missing those pieces that Foundations fulfilled. So here's what my question is. It sounds like we won't need Foundations anymore, or are we gonna like utilize Foundations?
Good question.
Yeah.
Here's the plan. First of all, when we adopted that material, we did a pretty extensive evaluation. We were using some other supplemental core instruction materials for phonics. For example, the kindergarten was using a brand called Jolly Phonics. So we've always been sort of supplementing with other foundational skills programs. COVID made the gap for foundational skills really pronounced because it's very difficult to teach phonics over the internet. So the gap in that program and the gap in our ability to teach those skills effectively was really profound during COVID. So when we have this opportunity, it's been enough years for us to say it's time for us to adopt a new program. The current program is good except for the gaps. And the other thing is the literature is more authentic now and all of that. There's other improvements beside the phonics. But going back to your question is, because our skills in phonics was so profound, we adopted Foundations, which is by Wilson, and it's based on the Wilson way of teaching foundational skills. It's a really strong program. It's typically used for intervention. So we adopted that program, and the materials came in a little late this year, around October-ish. So our teachers have been using the program and engaging in professional development and starting to take steps to really teach it with fidelity. And it has already had some really good impact and some really positive impact on students, particularly in their writing and their ability to spell. And so we don't want to abandon Foundations because we didn't really have enough time to fully implement it. What we intend to do is keep going with Foundations and then transition to using the core instruction, the core materials from Benchmark. But I can't give you a time frame because it's more about looking at the data and having the student achievement data give us our direction on how to handle both of those programs. There's some overlap and some redundancy, but what's important to know is that this program is being paid for by ESSER because it is a program and it's that is important for literacy, and its improvements and it's the necessity to engage with the improvements is because of COVID, which is why ESSER this is a good use of ESSER funds. But though that federal program is not going to be available to us beyond next year. So this is a really good opportunity for us to adopt this program, get to know it and learn it well, and understand the implications of those two overlaps with Foundations and the Benchmark phonics. This is the time to adopt the program. If we wait one more year or beyond one more year, then we'll be paying for it with board.
Well, and I appreciate you calling out that it's the tie to the ESSER funds also, that this is not a cost necessarily to the district because of those ESSER funds, because it's affecting or was affected by the COVID learning as well.
Correct. So this is an opportunity for us to leverage COVID ESSER funds to adopt the updated program because it's meaningful and it is appropriate because of the implications of COVID. The other thing that's important to reiterate or to call out, you guys can see it in your documentation, is that there's annual costs for the digital resources as well as the student resources, like the workbooks and stuff like that. But that cost also existed with the 2018 program. So
that's not a new fee. That's not
a new expense.
So we're going to transition over, and we're going to also be. I mean, I want to be respectful because our teachers took on, our staff took on Foundations this year in October, and I don't want it to be that whiplash factor, but also that balance. So it sounds like we're going to balance this out, which is good for our students and good for our staff. And our finances.
I feel we feel that we made an investment to Foundations and we made an investment in professional learning and to learning the program and engaging with the program, and that we're having good results with it. So I don't want to ditch it now.
Cool.
I want us to finish that out.
Awesome.
So let the data help us make that decision.
So when we adopted it in 2018 and then stopped using it?
No, I'm
We've
saying
been using this.
Yes,
the whole
we
time.
are still using it.
So it's not like a brand new program that requires onboarding
it's not
and
at
all of that.
We adopted it fully in the 2018 version. As Leah said, it's one of the benefits of the program. There's two big things that really were important. One is the program comes in Spanish. It's parallel, Spanish and English. So it fit the dual language program very well because everything is aligned. The other thing is the program is engages with cross-curricular units. So every other unit is either a science theme or a social studies theme or a literature theme, so that students are learning to read informational text within the context of their English language arts instructional program.
Thank you. I had that same concern about like the back and forth, but it doesn't sound like it's back and forth.
No, and I would just say as a dual parent, the matching English text. As a dual parent that is not a native Spanish speaker at all, the matching English text I found particularly helpful.
Well, the other thing that's important, and this is what's the other important compelling reason why the newer version is important, is that the Spanish text is the new version, is not just a translation of English. The Spanish books that kids will be engaged with are authentic, written by native Spanish speakers. They went out, Benchmark went out and procured literature that was authentic. Because some of the other observations that were made about the program is that some of the books were boring and they were translations, and that isn't necessarily beneficial to our kids who are engaged in dual language to celebrate heritage and
yeah, thank you.
City. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, we're going to move to number 8. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the scope of work for Total Infrastructure Solutions Incorporated with the total cost of $61,512.
So moved.
Second.
If there are no questions, we'll move to roll call.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Motion passes. Number 9, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the board action on closed session minutes as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Motion carries. Number 10, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the destruction of the verbatim closed session minutes from April 1st, 2021 through August 24th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Just a question just to clarify, this is pretty standard that we do
Yes.
once a year.
Yes.
Roll call?
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consolidated district plan for title grants as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Lastly, number 12, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the Title I school-wide waivers for Miller, Manning, and Westmont High School as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Motion carries. We'll move to the superintendent report.
So a couple of items in my report. Early this afternoon, the school district did receive the official voting canvass from DuPage Board of Election, and nothing changed in the results. Adina, Carlos, and Whitney Rogers were the winning vote getters, and so originally, tentatively, we had said our reorganization meeting would be this evening, but Carlos and Whitney could not attend, and so next Monday, May 1st at 6:00 p.m. at South School, we'll have our reorganization meeting in which the board will select their officers for the next year and then also approve the board meeting calendar. This week, the week of April 24th, is Administrative Professional Week, and so we want to thank all the administrative assistants in the district for all that you do, and especially Shannon, who is the administrative assistant for the superintendent's office and the Board of Education. And then one last item, last night was the Westmont Chamber Awards, and Jennifer Bursek, junior high teacher at the Westmont Junior High, was
Dr. B, as we know her. Dr. B.
Dr. B was one of the Educators of the Year and was selected by the Westmont Chamber. So congratulations, Jennifer.
Was that the only CUSD?
There's somebody else in CUSD who got an award.
I believe so.
That was it. Well deserved, Kevin.
Okay. Board reports.
Hi. I want to extend a great thank you to the team that put together the 50th Jubilee celebration that happened this past Saturday. It was an amazing turnout. Thank you to all the community sponsors. Thank you to NEAT, the whole staff, and Matt at NEAT. We closed down NEAT and had a big old blast. Music provided by Buzz, as always. No, it was a great turnout. Lots of people, everybody had a blast. Raffle prizes, check your email. People were notified via email if they won the raffle. I know the committee is meeting again to see what the final total and tally and results are, but thank you to everyone who made this possible. It was quite.
And their goals were met, correct?
I do believe, yes, goals were met. We're just
blown
trying
out
to
of the
see
water.
where they got. So they one more meeting and then they will close this out, so.
Thank you to the team of parents and staff that worked on that. It was amazing. So
It was
thank you so much.
so much fun. And
Yes.
go
Shows how great
visit
our-
all of our sponsors who helped us out, like a lot of different restaurants and businesses in the community, so, yeah.
Especially, I mean, NEAT closed down at 2 o'clock on a Saturday.
For us,
They
yes.
closed the entire restaurant.
Yes.
Like, that's outstanding.
Go try that brisket grilled cheese.
Amazing.
We don't have public comment and we don't need to return to closed session. So I'll go through a list of future meetings and events.
This has to be done in one breath.
Anyone says there's nothing going on in our district, come on.
Nothing going on at the end of the school year.
Never anything in May. It's such an easy breezy month.
Never a dull moment. All right, here we go. Manning Spring Concert, April 27th at 6 p.m. It's 66 p.m. No, it's 6 p.m., Westmont High School Auditorium. Westmont Junior High School Talent Show, it's April 28th, 6 p.m. at the junior high. The Elementary Drama Club presentation, oh, I missed that. It's April 28th also at 7 p.m. at Manning Elementary. The Elementary PTO night is May 1st, 6 p.m. at Manning. We also, as Kevin mentioned before, is our CUSD 201 special board meeting where we swear in our newly elected, or oldly elected, if you want to say, members.
I think that PTO time is wrong.
Okay,
It's normally 7.
okay.
Correct.
Just
I
double
also
check
think
your sources.
the talent show is stating the wrong place. I believe it's at the high school. But
Goodness.
check with your students.
Yeah, announcements will be going out by building principals, so just make sure you double check times and places. Manning Chorus and Band Concert, May 2nd, 6 p.m., Westmont High School Auditorium. The next BPAC meeting is May 3rd at 5:30 p.m. Usually it's Zoom, but again, check your times. Westmont High School Band and Choir Spring Concert is May 9th at 7 p.m. at Westmont High School Auditorium. Elementary Math Night is May 10th at 6 p.m. I guess someone should speak on Literacy Night, but I'll finish this first. Westmont High School Fine Arts Concert and Art Exhibition. It's May 10th at 7 p.m. at Westmont High School Auditorium. Miller Spring Concerts, May 11th at 7 p.m. Westmont High School Auditorium. And the next regular scheduled CUSD 201 board meeting is May 16th at 6 p.m. at Village Hall.
Did you go to Literacy Night?
No.
I know Kevin went.
I think there are two big nights. Again, something's always happening, but I know I heard from the grapevine the international night
International
was
night, yes.
wonderful.
Super fun.
But Literacy Night
And then Literacy Night, yes.
with great. So thank you again to all our volunteers who work so hard with all our events. Any other questions or comments, guys? All right. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the April 25th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.